Hello, welcome to Three Crows Runes. My name is Jen. Let's do some rune readings. Today we are doing, alas, the last of the Forgotten English deck. We have gone through every single card in the Forgotten English deck except for these 6. So we are going to go out with a bang. We're going to do all 6. So feel into the forgotten words or terms as the case may be. And one of these will have a reading for you about what is being revealed, what in your life is being revealed that has to do with surprises and also fate. Not that, we don't have any control over it, but in terms of just what is being revealed to you. Because when I asked what the theme for this reading should be, I drew Pertho, so Pertho it is. So it's surprises and fate today. So feel into the cards. One or more of these really wonderful words is going to have a message for you about that. So I will put the timestamps in the description, and I will see you at the readings. Bye! Hello to everyone who chose the word fix facts. Let's see what fix facts means, and that'll give us the flavor of the reading. Scottish word for a framework or pillory, which had a variety of forms. All had holes for the necks and wrists of those convicted of such crimes as sales fraud, bad debts, and fortune-telling. Uh-oh. Okay, this device was known by such nicknames as the Thew for female penitents who were called babes in the wood, the penance board for the religiously inclined, and wooden parentheses for intellectuals. The fix fax was placed in the town square where passers-by could jeer and pelt the confined with dangerous or humiliating projectiles. The practice was not completely abolished in England and America until 1837 and 1905, respectively. So, fix facts. So this is the bit where they put you in basically the stocks, where you have to sit there with your neck and wrists through this wooden thing, and then people come by and throw things at you. So you may feel in your life that suddenly you realize that you're in this situation as far as what the theme of the reading is, which is Pertho, things that are being revealed. So you have realized that you may have found yourself in this situation where, for whatever reason, maybe the people around you have been punishing you for something that you did that wasn't really terrible. Like, what you did wasn't that bad. Like, it wasn't bad enough to warrant something like this, and yet here you are, you feel like people are going by and throwing like rotten tomatoes at you, and that you're like a laughing stock sort of thing going on. Like, and it may even just be you are holding yourself up to this. Like, you may have put yourself in a position where, and this is just basically you're realizing this. It's like, wait a minute, I've put myself in this position where, for something that isn't even that bad, I am getting this, public humiliation going on. That's not good. So let's get some runes out on this. I am using the hematite runes, which I use for scattercasts, and we are going to do a scattercast that is going to give you some answers about this situation that you seem to have realized is your situation. And it's not a pleasant situation, so I'm really sorry to hear this. So let's get some runes down. Okay, now we pick up the ones that have gone upside down, which means there is no blank rune in this reading, because the blank rune is blank. Eventually, we may want to do a reading where we're checking out what the upside down runes were, in which case we would be using the blank runes. But in this case, this is like this. Yeah, so feeling disarmed. Let's get all of this. Yeah, here's your realization. Sort of right in the middle. I think that's your central issue there. So this has been going on for a while, and it actually came out of a moment of chaos for you. There was like this moment, oh, there you go, know your worth. Know your worth is going to be the moral of this whole story, because that's the best thing that you can do. Okay, central issue, we have Kaunas, which is the rune of the torch, otherwise known as the fire. That's something that starts small like an ember and goes into a blaze. And you've realized this has been accumulating for a while, and this is something that has just basically it started small, and now you have just realized that it is not getting better, and it is only getting worse, and it is only expanding and opening out and becoming more, and it's a problem. So it's just obviously because you don't want to be in this situation. I'm really sort of going to read this as your path line, even though this one's a little lower. But it sort of speaks to how you're like, okay, you know what, I'm going to step out of that situation. That's no longer my lot in life. So what led up to all of this? There was a moment where you felt disarmed. There was a moment where what you were doing maybe was... See, this is Tivaz reversed. Tivaz is Tyr's rune. Tyr is the warrior god. And this has to do with, yes, driving forward on your quest, but also tending to duties and responsibilities. Maybe something was getting neglected. Maybe you have neglected something in your life that you had some duty or responsibility to, which may in fact be yourself, because this is something that has sort of demeaned you. Either way, it's something where you felt disarmed in some way, and you felt that maybe for a brief moment you deserved this, but you don't. So what that led to was a moment of chaos where things were just in the right situation to sort of initiate this situation. You've been okay with it because from almost the start of this happening, you would go to your happy place. You would go internally and you would find your joy within, and that would help you. And you would also sort of take care of other things in your life that were discontentments. You just sort of like, okay, deal with that. And some humility, I think also just basically you were like, oh, you maybe were feeling like you were the bigger person for being humble and taking this with humility. But you always felt like, where's my support in this? Like, who's supporting me? Because I need somebody to support me, and clearly nobody is supporting me. What wasn't helping is that nobody was supporting you. And yes, there's a certain element of worry about supporting yourself in this, because there is a part of you that did feel, at least at the time, that you deserved it, but you never did. What you've done is not that bad. And yet now you find yourself in this position where you're like this perpetual laughing stock kind of thing. Like, it's not necessarily that you're like this big laughing stock, but in this one situation, which like maybe you felt for like a brief moment, oh my gosh, I deserve to be ridiculed about this. Even if it's you doing it to yourself, you don't deserve it, and you do not deserve having had it go on for as long as this. So this is quite some time it's been going on. So again, what's been helping you is you just go to your happy place, and you basically, you tap into your inner joy, and you sort of take care of other things in your life. But this is going on, and it's like this perpetuation of this moment of shame, and then this moment of chaos that allows this to start happening. What has really been helping you between then and now is you've been looking at your life, and you've been making agreements, decisions, plans, and goals with yourself. I should be saying what the runes are. Tivaz reversed, Hagalaz, which is the hailstorm and chaos and things that are out of your control. Algae is reversed, which is the rune of support and protection. It's reversed on the lower line, so that's not been helping you. Just this feeling of like, who's supporting me, and I'm afraid to stand up for myself. What's been helping you is Vunyo reversed. Vunyo is the rune of joy. This has to do with, obviously, it's reversed, so it's your inner joy. That's what's been helping you throughout this. What's really been helping you between then and now is we have Gabo. Gabo's the rune of the gift. The gift is always an exchange. So we're basically making agreements, decisions, plans, and goals. Maybe there's one other person that you've been able to talk to about this that has been helping you also. But yeah, you've sort of just been making tidying up things in your life as far as just like making agreements with yourself and setting goals and making plans and that kind of thing. But now you've reached this point, and this is your central issue. This is where you are now, where you realize that this is sort of getting out of hand, and there was no reason for it to begin with. And yet now it's just something expansive that either you or people around you who aren't really your friends are just basically running with, and it's like become like a common thing, and it's sort of snowballing. So it's the torch or the fire. It's something that starts small like a ember and goes into a blaze, and it's just continuing. what is going to help you? You are extremely strong and you are extremely resilient. We have Uruz, which is the rune of the wild ox. This has to do with strength, health, and also stubbornness in terms of just being able to dig in and be resilient and be immovable. But your strength is going to help you here because you've realized this, and now it's like, we got to stop this. This is not okay. What isn't going to help is it does feel like a challenge. It is like this thing that you were worried about standing up for yourself. This is what you've got to do. And so it feels like I'm facing this door again and this choice that do I stand up for myself at this point? Yes. It's a good idea to do that. And by the way, you're really, really strong. And so if you stand up for yourself and are firm about it, then nobody will be able to move you on this. So if you start to worry about the challenge of this, just bring yourself back up to, and you've been making plans all this time, and maybe you've got this one other person who you trust and you've been interacting with. So it's been good. You've been doing pretty well, and you're very, very strong. So what's next? As soon as you step through that door, as soon as you do that, you're going to be worried about like everything blowing up in your face. We have Dagas, which is the rune of the breaking of the day. It's in a lower line even than worries about stepping through the door of doing this. And at the same time as that, you're worried that nothing's going to change. So Dagas, breaking of the day, and Isa, which is ice, and stand still. That's what you're worried about. What happens actually? Nothing. Absolutely nothing of this kind. It doesn't blow up in your face, and it doesn't mean nothing changes. It's basically a moment of, whoa, actually peace for a little moment. Like, wow, it's like all of this time this has been going on, and the moment I stand up and say, no, you got to stop this, it's ridiculous, bad things don't happen. What happens is suddenly peace and quiet. Your next step on the path line is Manas, which is the rune of humanity and your part in it. It's like you are stepping into that at that point, but you're sort of leaving behind the din. Like all the people who are like with low vibrational energy who've been actually rolling with this are sort of starting to drop into what isn't helping you, and you're recognizing this and you're sort of rising above them because this is kind of your path. What is going to help you at that point is keep moving forward. We have Avaz, which is the horse. The horse is movement and spirit. So keep moving forward. Let your spirit carry you if you have to, whatever that is for you. What isn't helping is you keep worrying about something unexpected being revealed, like that is like, maybe it's even just this being re-revealed, something unpleasant that is going to come up and it's to start all this over again. But that actually, I don't see that actually happening. If it does, you're already leaving all of that behind, so heck with it. So just the most important thing is just keep moving forward. You have risen above these people who have made your life difficult, even if that's like you and your idea of your part in the world. Don't worry about that. Let your spirit carry you forward. Keep moving forward. The last two runes in this spread are both things that are helping you the most. One, we have Laguz, which is the rune of the water, so it's flow. So just keep flowing forward. It's also the rune of emotion, intuition, and heart. So basically, allow yourself to feel, but also let yourself be heart-led. Here you are being carried by spirit. Here you are letting yourself be led by your heart. And that's going to make things much better. And ultimately, what this is going to lead you to is the greatest sense possible of your worth in the world. And this isn't even reversed. This is like straight up your worth in the world. We have Fehu, which is the rune of wealth and worth. It's the highest rune in the spread. And it's basically saying, it's like by the end of this little passage of just a few more steps from now, where you're like, oh, this has got to stop, you're going to be like, no, you know what? I have worth in the world, and I was never worth this treatment. So there you go, fix facts, people. I wish you all the best with this, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye. Hello to all of you who chose the Toad Eater card. So let's read what the definition is. Originally a 17th century charlatan's sidekick who, in full view of a crowd, would pretend to eat a toad, which at that time was considered to be poisonous. The assistant would feign a severe reaction to the horror and amusement of the naive spectators. The master would then dramatically demonstrate the curative power of the remedy he had for sale by using it to revive his sidekick. A corresponding verb, toad eat, emerged shortly thereafter. It meant to do something quite unpleasant on behalf of one's master. Also where toady comes from. I happen to know this one. So you may find yourself in a situation where you have been doing something unpleasant on behalf of somebody unpleasant, so who is doing something that is not entirely above board. So no judgment here. However, obviously this is something that you've maybe only just realized now, and you're like, wait a minute, I don't want to be doing this. I don't want to be doing this for this person. So, and even if it's been in your own service, like, stop it, because it's not okay. I'm not judging, but it's like, if this shows up in the reading, which this already has, what is being revealed to you is the fact that maybe this has been going on in your life, and this is something that you need to reassess. So let's get some runes down and see what the rest of the reading is. They're already spilled and I'm still singing. So let's pick up the ones that are face down, which means, of course, that we will not be using any of the blank runes because I won't know. I mean, any of the blank rune. The only blank rune, there's only one. We're not using it. At some point, I will do readings with these where I'm looking at what ones are face down, and then that'll be like the subtle things that are going on. But in the meantime, we're not doing that. So let's get all of the ones turned the way that they want to be. Here we go. Get this up, up, up. That one's up. That's your, like, almost finale. Okay, so your central issue here is a Berkana reversed. Berkana is the rune of the birch tree and birth. This has to do with, it's the rune of the birch tree. It's the rune of beginnings and birth, and it is reversed. So it looks like you are looking inward and sort of rebirthing yourself at this point. You're basically looking at something that maybe had started as well, and like going, no, wait a minute, this is not okay. I'm not happy with this. But basically it's like looking inward and sort of turning away from perhaps the self that you were developing and really taking a good look at it. This may also be turning away from sort of a family drama kind of thing, because Berkana does have to do with family sometimes, but in general, I'm just sort of seeing this central issue as being, I'm reassessing who I am and who I'm becoming in this situation. So what led up to this? First of all, it was an agreement. It was just a simple agreement. It didn't hurt you. It was something that was maybe even fun, and based on a one-on-one interaction. So we have Gabo, which is the rune of the gift. This has to do with agreements, decisions, plans, and goals. It's the gift. It's always an exchange. So there was that, and it wasn't a bad thing at the time. It was maybe a fun thing at the time, and maybe it was just like this thing. It made people happy. It made you happy. It made the other person happy, and it was just sort of a fun little agreement that happened. Your first step on the path line with this, a little step on from that, was, hey, I have some really good inner strength going on, but now this is starting to get a bit like a little bit overwhelming. Like, I'm reading both of these as kind of path line helping and path line not helping. So it started as a fun little thing, fun little agreement. And then we've got this moment on the path line where it's like, I'm building my inner strength, and that's really good. However, I'm feeling a little bit unseated in my path. And things are getting a little bit, like, I'm seeing a lot, and things are getting a little bit overwhelming. At this point, it's like, this is a little bit out of his, like, I'm seeing too much. I'm seeing a lot, but I'm seeing too much, and I'm feeling a bit unseated, but I'm really developing my inner strength, so maybe that's a good thing. As we move along, things start to leave being in your control. Things started to be out of your control, and that's where things started to get really unpleasant. Your next thing just before this was you actually got to be still about this. Like, a pause had to happen. Like, something stopped, something froze, and that's actually the best thing for you. It stopped what was happening. You were able to then see that there was an emergency in your life that you needed to take care of. Like, something stopped, and it was one of the really good, helpful things that happened for this. this freezing. We have Isa, which is the rune of ice, has to do with standstill, but also the stillness through which clarity comes. When that happened, you suddenly realized, hey, you know what? This is an emergency. I need to take care of this right now. I need to drop everything and take care of it. It's Nauthi's reversed, rune of need. When it's reversed, it always means tend to your needs, but when it's reversed, it means drop everything and tend to your needs. And then you basically, while this was going on, in fact, just before this was going on, what was helping you was like realizing your place in the world, basically. Not like your place, but where you feel a better sense of belonging in the world. We have Manas, which is the rune of humanity, and your part in it. And that's above all of this at this point. So you're like, wait a minute, I actually... There's a situation where I do belong, and it's basically not this situation that's caused this emergency and that had to stop at this point. So maybe that was going on, and it's like, wait a minute, we've reached a critical moment, and stop, time out, that's it. I have to take care of this. This is an emergency. I need to stop. And then we're going to start looking at this feeling of belonging that you had that was much, much better than what all this was. So here we are in the central moment. So we have central issue, Berkana reversed. You are reassessing who you are becoming and starting to rebirth yourself. What is going to help you is you get to shape this. We have Ingvaz, which is the rune of Ing. This has to do with, Ing is another name for Frey, and Frey is the fertility god. I usually read this as active creation. So you are basically using what you have to control what you can, and you are going to shape. You're going to have an active part in shaping who you become at this point. What isn't going to help is you really don't feel that you have the support that you need, and you're really worried about that. And there's a part of you that is afraid of standing up for yourself and sort of stepping up and becoming your own protector. But mostly throughout all this, you just have felt like not supported, and that's still bothering you at this point where you are rebirthing yourself. If that starts to be the case, just remember that, yes, sure, you are going to stand up and you are going to shape who you are going to become, and this is going to be much, much better for you. So here you are, rebirthing. The rebirthing is going to continue. There are no other path lines in this, but there is something that's going to help you, and there is something that isn't. What is going to help you is keep moving forward. We have Avaz, which is the horse. The horse has to do with movement and spirit, so you are basically letting your spirit carry you, whatever spirit is for you. You're also continuing to move forward, so just gallop forward, don't look back, keep going. Whatever it is you are recreating yourself as, keep going. Get as far away from this as you possibly can. What isn't going to help is you are going to be worried about energy levels. We have Sovilo, which is the sun, down here in what isn't helping. If that starts to be the case, just let spirit carry you. And you know, the thing about the horse is, in the olden times, and possibly now if you're in a situation where that's in existence, like you could go to a tavern and get like so drunk you couldn't walk, and then just fall on your horse and the horse would carry you home. That's the sort of situation that this is. Basically tap into whatever spirit is for you and let your spirit carry you. It's like if you are worried about energy levels and you just don't feel like you have the energy levels, remember what you're doing. First of all, like you're just getting away from this, and just throw yourself on top of spirit, let spirit carry you, and just keep moving forward, and that's going to help you the most. So for those of you who chose Toad Eater, that is your reading. I wish you all the best with this, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye. Hello to all of you who chose Love Days. So let's have a look at what this means. Term for dates, established in Chaucer's time for reconciling disputes by arbitration, in which day meant to appoint a time for a decision. During the 15th to 16th centuries, dayment was a type of mediation performed by a daysman. By the 16th century, the name Love Day had been misinterpreted as meaning lovemaking or peaceful day. So basically, it's not that. It has to do with reconciling a dispute by arbitration. So there may be a situation in your life where there is a dispute going on, where it's time now, basically. You need to find some sort of arbitration. You haven't been able to take care of it yourself. Get yourself a third party involved, and it's basically saying, it's like, get a daysman. It's daysman, right? Yeah. Get a daysman to help you with this, and or the modern equivalent, and let's sort these things out. So just set yourself, even just like a date to sort things out. There may be a situation where you need to do that. But either way, there's something that has gone on, and it's a dispute, and it needs arbitration. So, and it may need a third party of arbitration. So you want to go with that. So let's get some runes down and see what they have to add. Ooh, that one went all the way up here. Is it upright? No. Oh, well, away it goes. Oh, wait a minute. It was blank. You know what? I'm going to leave it because that's neat. That one wasn't upright. Let's get all the ones that went face down. Yeah, because your sense of worth is being affected by this, and that's dragging you down. So let's definitely take care of this. Okay. We turn all the runes to the direction that they want to be in. Yeah, there's like a lot of unhappiness here. But you really want your sense of belonging back. Yeah. Okay. I am actually going to read this as this is your central issue right here. So it's not been very long since you realized, hey, you know what? We need to do something about this. We need to arbitrate this. This has not been good. So this is your path line. There's only one rune on it. Everything above it is helping. Everything below it is not. So what led up to this moment where you are just not feeling happy, your heart is not in things, you are feeling unpleasant emotions, things are feeling inwardly, upheavally, and things are not flowing. So we have Laguz, which is the rune of the water. So it's emotion, intuition, heart, and flow. That's your central issue right now. What led up to this? First of all, this has been going on long enough. Whatever this is, this thing that needs to be arbitrated, and it's really affected your sense of worth. We have Fehu reversed on the lowest line in the whole thing. Fehu's the rune of wealth and worth, reversed on the lower line. It's like you are not feeling the worth that you would like, and maybe you're feeling like you're not being treated with any sort of worth either. It's like way the heck at the bottom. What then happened was you just got this basically surge of energy, and you were like, wait a minute, you actually tapped into something that gave you some source energy, which is really, really good. And that's what made you realize, you know what, I'm not happy. My heart is not in things anymore. I'm feeling very upheavally inside. We need to do something about this. So what's going to help you? We have Hagalaz, which is the rune of the hailstorm. And this is basically, usually I'll read this as things that are out of your control and chaos and weather. And it's a few of those things. A lot of this I'm seeing is as basically getting back in touch with your true nature, because it's been suffering because of this. You've not been feeling the worth that you feel that you deserve. So bring yourself back up to where you've tapped into your source energy, and this has reminded you of who you are and your true nature. And that's sort of like, okay, you know what, we need to do something about this, and I am a force of nature in this, and I have a voice, and I'm going to do this. What isn't going to help you is letting this continue. So we have Kaunaz, which is the rune of the torch or the fire, something that starts small like an ember and expands into a blaze. It's opening out its expansion, and it's basically leading from all of this. It's like, if you don't do anything about this, it's just going to get worse. So take this moment. You've already tapped into your source energy. Now what you want to do is realize that you are a force of nature in this. And whatever this is that's going to go on, that's going to feel crazy and chaotic, it's not going to be for a long time. It's just basically going to be for its duration. So what's going to help you next is step through the door of this challenge and tend to your needs. We have Thurizaz, which is the rune of the challenge. It's the thorn, the giant, the gateway. It's upright and it's in the upper line. So it's definitely what's going to help. Face this challenge. Embrace it as yours. Step through the door. The door is open in front of you. What is on the other side of the door? All the needs that you've been needing to take care of. So you need to basically, once you step through this door, take that step. Once you take that step through the door and make that decision to take that step through the door and face these things, face your challenge, the first thing you're going to be faced with is all the things that are going to land in your hands of like, I need to take care of this. I need to take care of that. These are the needs that I have that need to be tended to. And that's going to occupy you for a little while you get things sorted out. Then, almost on the path line, but a little bit below it, you are going to be trying to come to terms with your part in the great choir of humanity. So we have manas, which is the rune of humanity, and your part in it. It's a little bit on lower line. Like all of this is lower line stuff. So you're going to be dealing with possibly things about humanity and criticizing your sense of belonging, where it's going to feel like crummy. It's going to feel like, yeah, I've been dealing with things that are just going to be difficult. What isn't going to help is not communicating. So the communication is definitely going to be key about this. I mean, if you're arbitrating a dispute, then you just definitely have to, I mean, you can read all of these, the opposites are going to be up here. So, for example, where the general din of humanity is not going to help you, at the same time realizing where you actually do belong is, and at the same time not communicating is not going to help you, listening is, and listening to your inner voice is, and at the same time as feeling kicked out of your comfort zone is not going to help you, letting go of things that no longer serve you is. So that's what these are about. We have manas, and we have Ansu's reverse, which is communication and manifestation. Reversed in the lower line is not communicating. So not going ahead and communicating about this is going to be a problem. Keeping a good listen to your inner communication is going to help you. Othala reversed is home in the homeland. Reversed in the lower line, it's basically feeling like you're outside of your comfort zone. What is going to help you with this is letting go of the things that no longer serve you. And the last rune before the final rune, which is a surprise because it's a blank rune, and I would have picked it up, but I noticed it was blank, and so it got to stay, is just basically the end of this particular journey. This is almost the path line, but these are like things that are not really very pleasant. But it looks like whatever journey you were on that led to this kind of thing, this dispute that needs to be arbitrated, there will be sort of on your path line the ending of a journey. It's not going to be very comfortable, but it's going to be what needs to be happening. Once again, reading this as also what's going to help, it's actually the best thing for you. The fact that the journey itself has ended ultimately is going to be the best thing for you. And after that, there'll be a little bit of time where you're going to be like either grieving what you've just been through, or just sort of blank. And then we hit the blank rune way up here in the highest rune in the spot, and in the highest spot in the reading. And that's basically this realization that you've got a blank page now. It's like an open world in front of you. Like it's a fresh page in your life, a fresh chapter that you can now write, now that you've dealt with this the best you possibly can, and by closing off a chapter that you needed to close off. So I wish you all the best with this, and that is your reading for Love Days. I'm sure it sounded a lot nicer than it actually ended up being as far as the word goes. But anyway, I wish you all the best with this, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye. Hello to all of you who chose the word scatches. I don't know what this means, and I may have pronounced it wrong, so let's have a look. Stilts worn in the early 16th to 19th centuries when walking in filthy places. Without them, one might have been forced to walk uncomfortably through areas of deep mud. The word scatches is based on the same Greek root as 18th century scatology, the study of dung, and the earlier scatomancy, fecal fortune-telling. Aren't you glad I don't do that one? The Dutch created the term shots and scatses from Old French ishas. I should be able to speak French, but I don't. In the mid-1600s. Eventually, these words came to mean ice skates, which were first fashioned from the lower leg bones of cows. That was a journey. So it ended up at ice skates, but ultimately what we're talking about is stilts that you have to wear to walk through filthy ground. So you have realized that you need to get above what's going on. You need to get above the poop that's going on in your life, the dung that's going on in your life. You need to get above that, because otherwise you're going to be forced to slog through it, and it's not good. So the reading is basically going to be about, let's see about getting above this. You've realized that there's a lot, and you need to get above it in order to get over it, so that you can then be skating. See how I dragged that one in? So, but you need to get above it. Whatever is going on in your life that is full of poop, you need to get above that, and that's for the sketches to do. So let's get some runes down on this for clarification. Still singing while they come out. I need those because they're upright, so they're going to be hidden, but they're going to be important. So let's pick up everything that went face down. Oops. No, you're not allowed to fall on the floor. Okay, hang on a sec. Thankfully, we have a light-colored carpet. I need to find that other rune, though. It's important. And they're rolly, too, which is an issue. Oh, there it is. It's over there. Okay, I'm going to get it after the reading because it's on the other side of the whole table. Okay, now we turn the runes to be the direction that they needed to be when they fell, or that they wanted to be. Pretty much all of them are. Okay, so your central issue here, I'm going to read as Kaunaz. It's actually the second time that the scattercast in this session has shown me Kaunaz as the central issue, so that's kind of neat. So your central issue is Kaunaz. Kaunaz is the rune of the torch or the fire, something that starts small like an ember and goes into a blaze, and it feels like things have been getting a little bit out of hand, and you're ready to basically say, okay, you know what, there's too much poop, and I need to get above it, basically. What led up to this is you've actually been working on re-becoming. You've been looking at your life, you've been looking at your situation, and you've been like, I need to become somebody not necessarily new, but to become more of who I am in a more true way. We have Berkana, which is the rune of the birch tree. This has to do with beginnings and birth. Reversed on the upper line, you're re-incubating a new you. And I think it's through this that you realized, you know what, there's a lot of poop, and I don't want to have to walk in the poop anymore, and let's do something about that, because I realized that, and that's not good. What is going to help you? We have Sovilo, which is the rune of the sun. Yeah, because you don't want to drag your new rebirthed self through the poop. So this is going to set a record for the number of times I say poop in a reading. So we have Sovilo, which is the rune of the sun. This has to do with source energy. So what is going to help you is whatever it is that always gives you energy, that always energizes you no matter when you tap into it, that's what you're going to want to tap into this for this. That's going to help you with your sketches. That's actually going to be your sketches, is elevate yourself by tapping into what always energizes you, what always nourishes you, and get yourself above all of that. So keep that on hand, whatever it is for you. It could be anything. It could be music. It could be writing. It could be walks in nature. But whatever it is, do it, because that's going to help you the most in this situation. What isn't going to help is we have Pertho, which is the rune of the lot box. It has to do with surprises and fate. You're sort of worried about that, and you're worried about more surprises that are going to add more poop to the pile, and you're also worried that maybe this is my fate to be amidst all this poop. It's not. You've recognized it, which is a big deal. You've been rebirthing yourself, which is also a big deal. So tap into that source energy, get yourself elevated and energized and above that, and that's what's going to help. Your next step on the path line is part of this has a lot to do with how you sort of felt you belonged before, but it's not comfortable and it's not good for your new self. We have Manaz, which is the rune of humanity, and your part in it in the lower lines. So you're sort of worried about, it's like, who am I if I'm not going to be in all this? And the answer is you're going to be your new you, who is more you than you've ever been. So that's good. Just keep tapped into your source energy, and that's going to help you the most. Your next line here is basically, and here you're taking this thing where you're worried about it expanding, but now you're expanding out into this new situation, which is going to be much better for you. We have Ansuz, which is the rune of communication and manifestation, and we have Thurizaz at the bottom, which is an almost impossible challenge. So because of all of this, because of the way that you've been going through this, and feeling like maybe it's tied to your identity somehow, tied to your part in the world, that's what could drag you down to the point where it feels like it's an impossible challenge, because this is sort of all you've known for a while. But you've recognized it for what it is, and you want to get above it, and you've already taken steps. So that's important. So keep your connection to your inner voice. That's going to help a lot. Listen, be silent in that you are going to be, it's that whole little scene gets more done thing. It's like you're not going to be broadcasting that you're doing this. You're just going to do it. So be a bit silent, keep your inner counsel, and pay really close attention. Listen to your inner counsel and listen to what's going on around you, and just sort of keep on the lowdown on this. Is that the right word for that? Just keep it low key, but you are also continuing to birth yourself. You're nourishing that, and you're carrying that forward. And so that's going to be very important. You are going to be in a situation where you're going to be a little impatient with this, but you are taking it step by step. This is almost Pathline, so it's sort of like Pathline and also what isn't helping you. So what isn't helping you about it is that you're going to feel a bit impatient that it's taking as long as this, but also your path is saying we have to take this step by step. You're on stilts, so you have to be careful, especially since if you fall, you're back in the poop. What is going to help you a little bit on from this, because there's going to be a little bit of plodding, PLODD, is you're going to start taking care of the things that need to be taken care of, and that's going to help you a lot. And then from there, you're going to be able to build a plan, set some goals, make some agreements and decisions. So we have Tivaz, which is helping you. As you go along, you're going to be, okay, driving forward is very important, but also taking care of things that need to be taken care of. Tivaz is Tears rune, Tears the warrior god, so this has to do with that. But what helps you even at that point is once you start taking care of things, you're going to be saying, okay, let's make some plans. Let's set some goals here, because that's going to help me even more, because this is sort of randomly taking care of things and driving forward. But we want to be taking care of things on sort of a schedule and saying, okay, this needs to be done, and make sure that it's done by having a plan and setting some goals. So the final two runes here, which are both things that are going to help you so much. And it's funny because it's like you're elevating yourself, and it's almost like your path line itself is elevating, because you were like, this is not helping, the step by step. So let's elevate the path by making what helps me my path. So taking care of things that need to be taken care of and setting goals and things. And this extends us up to where the path and what helps you are both united in this very, very high up line. We have Vunyo, which is the rune of happiness. So you're finally going to feel happy that you're high above what's been going on and high above the poop. Had to say it one more time. So that's basically where your happiness is. Once you elevate yourself to a certain point, not like you're going to be walking around better than other people, but you're going to be like getting yourself out of where it's stinky. And that's important. So is where it's more skating than stilts through poop. So ultimately what that's going to lead you to is Fehu. Fehu is the rune of wealth and worth. So you are going to finally find that you basically realize that you are worth it. You finally realize your worth in life and make your life worthy of you, and vice versa. So ultimately, I see happiness for you. I see a sense of worth for you in the world, and you're going to feel good about things, and you're going to be high above all the poop. So that, those of you who chose sketches, is your reading. I wish you all the best with this, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye. Hello to all of you who chose Gardy-Loo. I happen to know what this one means, but I'm going to read it anyway. So, spirited warning cry that once preceded the emptying of slops buckets full of wastewater from an upstairs window into the street below. A corruption of the French expression garde de l'eau, which meant roughly look out for the water being a term used loosely in this case. The expression was frequently heard in the 18th and 19th centuries in England and in Scotland, where a water closet is still referred to as a loo. So, I just did a whole reading about poop. So, but anyway, Gardy-Loo. So what is being revealed to you is a warning to get out of the way, because some pretty nasty stuff is coming down from above. So let's get some runes down and clarify. Man, heed that warning. Definitely heed that warning if you are hearing it. Ooh, aye, aye, oh. So now we pick up all the ones that went face down. I think a lot of these went face down, which is good because it's a heck of a call to hear, and you definitely want to pay attention to it. So brevity is of the essence. So this is no less important a reading for its sparseness. In fact, it's extremely important. So there we go. Let's get all these turned the way that they need to be. You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. Weirdly, I've never seen this before, but this is your central issue. Your central issue is how to protect and stand up for yourself. We have algaes, which is the rune of the elk. This has to do with protection and support. Reversed, it has to do with you are protecting and supporting yourself. And one of the things that you are doing is paying heed to when the big warning comes out that something nasty is coming. And you, even if you're the only one who hears and recognizes it, you're going to be able to move and protect yourself from that. Here's the warning coming out, and you are like, nope, I recognized it. I am stepping aside and letting that splash, not on me. Leading up to this, you have had a situation where here you were. What was helping you was feeling very protected and supported and in sanctuary and in a home sort of situation. We had Othala, which is the rune of the home and the homeland. That's what was helping you. You were feeling very protected and in a state of sanctuary and estuary, even if you're going to take a younger Futhark read on that. In your comfort zone, things are good. What didn't help was suddenly an unpleasant surprise. Perhaps that's the last time somebody cried that you didn't notice and sploosh. So you've been through a lot since that moment. What helped you at that point was you ran home and you were like getting back into your comfort zone and you're like, man, I'm never leaving this again because that was very unpleasant. But then what wasn't helping you was we have Gabo, which is the rune of the gift. This has to do with an exchange. It's agreements, decisions, plans, and goals. You were worried about that for a while because you didn't want to go back out and get splooshed because that's not good. That was not comfortable and that was not at all good. So you were sort of worried about, if I make plans, if I set goals, I'm going to go back outside, out of my comfort zone, and then there's going to be that nasty sploosh happening, and I don't want that. You maybe moved a little bit further from that at that point. Maybe you were like, maybe I should consider it, but then something else dragged you down, which was like, nope, things are out of your control out there. It's chaos out there. We can't do it. We can't do that. So you kept yourself a bit overprotected for a very long time, overprotected to the point where, yes, you were protecting yourself from slops from above, but you weren't doing anything, and that was not okay. Suddenly, though, just before this moment, you had an epiphany, and you recognized the signs that you were going to hear and see and take in. You had this illumination moment where you suddenly were like, maybe you saw this happen to somebody else and you recognized it from back in this moment where the call went out and you missed it and you got splooshed. But you suddenly had an epiphany and you were like, wait a minute. I can recognize when this kind of thing is going to happen, and I can see it, and it's very, very clear, and it's very, very loud and clear. Dagas, rune of the breaking of the day, illuminations, revelations, enlightenment, epiphany, and this is the thing that's helped you the most, and it's gotten to the point where you are ready now to step back out. I am, in the sake of the fact that there's like nothing else on the page, I am going to bring out some runes that I brought just in case this happened, and we're going to read around you stepping forward now, armed with this knowledge of the call that's going to come out. Yeah, now you're making better plans. You're like, okay, look at that. So here you are now strong and feeling much more, look at this, that's beautiful. You are feeling much more comfortable standing up for yourself as well as supporting yourself and protecting yourself because you realized this. Because you realized this, then you started making plans. You're like, okay, now these plans that I've been afraid to make, I'm going to start making because I now know what is going to happen before this happens. So you started making plans, agreements, decisions, and goals. You maybe had an interaction or exchange with somebody you trusted, one-on-one kind of thing. And now you're in a situation of like, I am stepping out. What is going to help you is we have Othala reversed. Othala is the rune of the home. This is Othala. This is your state before where you were like home and that was it. Like not venturing out of your comfort zone. Here you are. What is helping you is Othala reversed. I usually read Othala reversed 3 ways. 1, stepping outside of your comfort zone. 2, letting go of things that no longer serve you, like hiding just in case the slops come from above, and all that. And 3, letting go of things that no longer serve you. I said that already. Stepping out of your comfort zone. I said that already. Finding home within. So wherever you go, your sense of home is going to be with you. What isn't going to help you is you are worried about the journey ahead because you've been out of it for so long. Not out of it, but like you've refused to do anything out of your comfort zone for so long. But once again, bring yourself back up to this. It's like you now know. You recognize the call. So you're ready to step out. You're ready to take your home within you as you move out and let go of the things that aren't serving you. And and from that point on, you're holding your torch high, you're lighting the path ahead of you, and you're expanding and opening out and moving out into the world. We have Kaunaz, which is the rune of the torch or the fire, something that starts small like an ember and goes into a blaze. It's expansion, it's opening out. You are free. So that, those of you who chose Gardilu as your word, is your reading. I wish you all the best with this, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye. Hello to all of you who chose monks and friars. So let's see. I have a suspicion about what this might be, but let's see what it is. Words used in the 18th century by printers to describe errors in their craft. Pages that contained smudged or blotted letters were called monks, while letters that were deficient in ink and therefore too light were referred to as friars. That's adorable, and I had no idea. So there are some printing errors. There are some situations where maybe the words are smudged or maybe the words are too light. Either way, this speaks of a difficulty in communication. Perhaps you aren't on the same wavelength as other people. Things that are being revealed are that there is some lack of clarity in communication with others. So what do we need to do about this? What can we do with this revelation that there is some disconnect in your communication? How to clean those smudged words and darken those light words. Okay. That's right there. So we'll keep that there. Picking up all the runes that have fallen face down, which means also the blank rune, because I won't know. Unless I do. There was one earlier where I was picking up the one that was face down, and it was the blank rune, and I saw that it was the blank rune, so then we read it as the blank rune, and that was all good. Because the blank rune is always upright. It's always face up. Because all its faces are blank. Okay, so now we're turning the runes to be the direction that they want to be. Or not to be. Says the Shakespeare nerd. And that is me. So, what's our central issue? I am seeing Uruz as your central issue for this reading. Uruz is the rune of the wild ox. This has to do with strength and health and stubbornness in that it's digging in and being solid and immovable. So you are inherently strong. You are definitely inherently strong. That is something that is a definite thing. And you want to have that strength. And sometimes I'm going to read up to this, but it's basically like there may be a stubbornness aspect here where, the communication isn't super, super clear, but you're sort of standing by it, and that might not be helping you the most. But let's actually read this so either way, your central issue is definitely Uruz. It's the wild ox, strength and health, and a bit of dig-in ability. How did this happen? There was an unpleasant surprise in your life that started all of this. And this unpleasant surprise was based on the fact that this has landed right on monks and friars, a miscommunication. This is like a misinterpretation or just basically a misunderstanding. And this has created a really unpleasant moment in your life that everything has flowed from. It's sort of made you doubt your connection to humanity at this point because of this. And it was a misunderstanding. It was something that just didn't come across properly. The words were smudged or too light to read. And it just didn't, but it became an unpleasant surprise for you. What also didn't help is we have manas, which is the rune of humanity, and your part in it. It's just sort of like this doubt about humanity. Just before this moment where you're like, I am strong, I am solid, nothing can move me, there were a couple things that happened that dragged you down a bit. One, you felt like there was like this realization that dwelling on this, and this has been going on for a while, this feeling that happened with this misunderstanding. You're thinking about like, how much time have I wasted with this? How little time might be left to me on this? And what do I have to show for all of this? And at the very, very bottom here, we have Gabo. Gabo is the rune of the gift. It has to do with an exchange, agreements, decisions, plans, and goals. And it feels like, you've got some obligations that you feel like you maybe had that you weren't able to get to, and this has been dragging you down. There's also just like a lot of things that you've sort of set up to protect yourself and to sort of respond to this that haven't been helping either. And ultimately, what's really close to you at this point is like, what do I have to show for all of this? This has been going on for a while, and it was a misunderstanding. So what's your next step? Everything else after this point is going to help you. So hooray. Your next step is, first of all, let your heart lead. Ask your heart and say, what's the situation from this perspective? Like, think with your heart, feel with your heart. We have Lagus, which is the rune of the water. It's emotion, intuition, and heart. So intuition might come into it. Emotion is kind of like address your emotions, acknowledge what you're feeling, but also follow the flow and let the emotions flow, because emotions are not to stagnate. Emotions are like weather. You can't hang on to a thunderstorm. You can try, but it's not going to be very comfortable for anything. So let things flow. Obviously, don't just, the whole toxic positivity thing. Like, don't just say, oh, well, it's nothing, I'm going to let it go, blah. No, acknowledge your feelings, acknowledge your emotions with this, but also bring your heart into it and basically let your heart lead for this. And through doing that, things are going to expand. Things are going to open out. You're going to see a bigger picture of what was going on. And maybe that will reveal the misinterpretation and the misunderstanding that this was, and let yourself expand, let yourself open out, maybe reconnect with whatever this was, and see what you were dealing with, and with this more expansive viewpoint, and letting your heart lead, because you may realize that it was just a mistake, and it may have been just a misinterpretation based on that you couldn't see some of the letters, and that some of the letters were smudged. Your next and final step on this particular spread is we have Nauthies, which is up here. Basically, tend your knees. Whatever it is that got hurt at this point, take care of that. Just basically, you've expanded, you're looking at things from a heart place, from a heart-centered place. There are going to be things that need to be fixed at this point, and that can only help the situation. You can only help from doing that. So work on that. This is Nauthies. It's the rune of need. It's upright. It's in the highest spot, second highest spot. Moving to fix things, moving to tend the needs that have shown up because of this, whether this is your needs or just the needs of the situation that had been neglected for so long because you were just so disgusted with it. Move to fix them. Take time to tend those needs. And what is going to help the most at that point is this is a way that you can rebirth yourself. We have Berkana, which is the rune of the birch tree. This has to do with beginnings and birth. And it is the thing that is going to help you the most at this point. Once you take this moment after this moment, your next step, where you actually look at things from a heart, from a space of heart, from a heart perspective, acknowledging your emotions, not trying to overwrite them, but letting them flow. Things are going to open up. And that's going to help you a lot. Things are going to open up, things are going to expand, and you're going to be able to see more clearly a bigger picture of what was going on, at which point you're going to move to fix things. You're going to move to fix things for you, I don't know if this is another person that caused this, but whatever it is that happened that caused the hurt, you're going to move to fix this, and that's going to be extremely helpful, and it's going to help you to re-become more of who you are and a truer version of who you are now that you've seen the bigger picture. So that, those of you who chose Monks and Friars, is your reading. I wish you all the best with this, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye.